Wayne McCurrie is back with us tonight. That's our RMB Asset Management's one and only Wayne McCurrie. Wayne, another day of relatively small moves on the JSE.
Yes, it was quite a quiet day today. I mean, as Hilton said, up about just over 0.5%. But what I find interesting is that, okay, the Dow's up very slightly now, and it was up very slightly last night. But our market's actually been powering forward quite a bit. You know, it fell down to, what, about the 21,600, 21,700 mark, and now it's almost at 22,200. And it's been going up in the face of, the overseas markets falling. Of course, the big news overseas last night was Alcoa's results.
Yes.
And they were better than anticipated. Now, this seems to have given a little bit of life through to the markets now. I mean, generally, all the markets in Europe were up. The Nikkei was down. I'm not too sure why that fell in the face of other markets going up. But all the markets were up overseas, and we've seen the same things here. Quite a bit of action in the mining side. Anglo-American up 2%. Billiton basically flat. Gold mining down very slightly. On the industrial side, quite a nice run, financial and industrial, quite a nice run from the banking sector again. And this has been quite consistent over the last week or two, that the banks have done quite well. I mean, Standard Bank up 1%. They're off their highs for the day, but also very interesting, Old Mutual up 3%. So it seems to be sticking at around about that 10 Rand mark. Every time it goes below 10 Rand, the next day it goes back through that again.
Right, it does hovers there. There was two little bits of news out of retail. The retail sector yesterday, Massmart sales
Correct.
up 10% today. ShopRite saying their turnover up 25%. Looks pretty good then.
Yeah, look, certainly the ShopRite update about turnover was way better than the Massmart. I mean, the Massmart share price is not much, but it's down about 1% today compared to ShopRite up almost 3%. So ShopRite is clearly growing their sales by quite a significant percentage more than inflation. So they're having real sales.
Right.
Whereas Massmart actually went backwards. They sold less volume, even though the Rand value was slightly up on the previous year.
Inflation, it always makes it hard to look at the retailers. You've got to remember.
And of course, their internal inflation rate is very different to the official inflation rate. I mean, the official inflation rate is called at 8%. Massmart yesterday was 11%.
Right.
So it's very different. However, the shares are probably fairly priced in that ShopRite is roughly at, call it a 70% premium to the market. So it's 70% more expensive than the average share, whereas Massmart is probably only, it's more or less on par with the market. So in other words, the market was expecting better news from ShopRite than Massmart, and it actually got it. So hence the share price going up.
It's interesting, looking here that they're outside South Africa, the rest of Africa operations at ShopRite really growing very, very strongly.
Look, they were one of the first pioneers going out of Africa. They did it many, many years ago, and they're certainly bearing the fruits of that now. And they have got a distinct advantage over people who haven't gone there yet. And as per the update today, and we've known this for a while, the margins are good. It's a good business. They're making nice money out of it.
Yeah, unexpectedly so.
Yeah.
Sappi, there was a notice out from Fitch today saying that they've given Sappi's new debt an investment grade rating, but they're paying, I'm looking here now, it's over 12% on their stuff. I mean,
they pay a lot. They pay a lot. I mean, look, Sappi, up 5% today. Sappi is one of the companies, and lucky enough for us, we haven't got many of them, but they're one of the companies that had huge debt problems. Now, they had that rights issue towards the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And quite frankly, the only way they could get it to fly was at a massive discount to the price. It was a massive discount. But they seem to have sorted out their debt ratings. The paper market is getting slightly better, but we've been waiting for that market to get better for so many years now. I've forgotten how long we've been waiting for that. But the share price at 22, 23 Rand is well up on its lows. I mean, I might be wrong now, but I think the lows are about 14 or 15 Rand. Up very, very strongly. So over the last couple of months, Sappi and Old Mutual, the ones that got hammered, have actually been of the best performers in the market. I mean, how long that lasts, I don't know. But certainly, they sort of almost came to the precipice, survived, and that's when the shares go up. And in fact, if investors and listeners are lucky enough or skilled enough to identify a company that gets into serious trouble and the share price gets hammered, but then it survives
Right.
Those are the ones to
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
But of course, some don't survive, and that's the problem.
the catch always.